Welcome to Drive Time Exchange. As rubber hits the road, hard talk meets great music. Monday to Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. on NETT Radio, taking you above and beyond.
So we don't ring the bell down there. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Hey. Come on, brother leader. Look, it's high time that you summon up the power. This time, boss it in the air bell. Well, look, I have a story to tell. Well, it's a long time now we fighting for freedom. Victory bound to come. Assemble the people, we sight up the mission. Let me rock the rap so we dumb. Ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there.
All right, everybody, and of course, good afternoon to you. And we welcome you to the Drive Time Exchange. Of course, you are listening to the Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean, as we take you above and beyond. We welcome you all inside of the Drive Time Exchange. Monday to Thursday, we are here to make sure we take you home in fine style. Of course, we are led by none other than journalist extraordinaire, Tony Fraser. Tony, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Charles. How is life?
Well, I would not complain. Life is okay.
All right.
How are things with you?
I can't complain either. I'm alive. I'm talking to you, and that's the important thing. A lot of people can't do that today, you know.
I'm telling you, a lot of people didn't make it inside and through this day.
Yeah. So we have to be thankful. You and I went to a funeral last week. Last week, was it Friday? Yeah.
Yes.
A significant individual, Ulrich Buggy Haynes, a real footballer.
Yes. A former Malvern man.
Yeah. Trinidad and Tobago captain football. So, you know, he is gone and we are still here, which means that things are okay with us. So we have, two sets of interviews today on today's program. Our first guest, who I'm not seen yet, I see her name up, but she hasn't shown us her face just yet. Rhona Batiste, a journalist, a teacher, a writer, and that is what she's come to talk to us today about. So Rhona, if you are, I'm sure that you're hearing us. I see your name up there. So you are inside, and let us see your face. I have your face here.
Unmute your microphone and open up your camera.
Okay. So in the meantime, while she does that, she has just published a book, and we want to chat with her for the first part of the program. As I indicated, between now and just before 5 o'clock, we have Rhona talking about a book. And at 5 o'clock, we have a man who is grounded in West Indies cricket, and he's concerned that about the future and what is to happen. He's going to tell us about whether he believes there is a way out, there is a way forward, if you like, for West Indies cricket. He's a senior counsel, an attorney. Claude Denbow is his name, and we're going to come to Claude in a while. But Rhona, is she still muted, not hearing us?
Yes.
No?
Right. Rhona, are you there with us? I don't know. Maybe she's logged in.
Maybe you could just plug in some music in the meantime and see if you get in touch with her. Or maybe I can keep the chat going for a little while until you get in touch with her. How's that?
Yeah. Well, you tell me her number. I can't.
Oh,
Okay.
I neglected that part. So let me. Well, perhaps let me do the
You
call
you do the contact, and I will
and
hold the music for now.
keep this thing going.
Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rhapsody drum. Ring the bell down there. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Hey.
All right, Tony. I think what she does is that she's changing her devices on us.
Hi, Rhona. Have you muted your?
Right.
Okay, we're now seeing you. Have you unmuted your microphone?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tony is now disengaged.
Stay right there. Don't be
Yeah.
anything more.
Okay.
Coming back
All
to
right,
you
this
right.
thing will work itself out just now. But Rhona, are you there with me here? That's okay. Okay, let me check it. Right, Rhona, are you there with us? Tony, are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. I am
Beautiful.
seeing her. I just spoke with her, and I asked her to unmute if her microphone is muted, and I don't know what's happening. Rhona, are you hearing us? All right. Maybe there's somebody there who can assist with getting her on the air.
Okay. I don't know why I'm not hearing her very well because the mic and everything seems to be working.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be hearing us because she's not responding. Don't know what to say. Sure. Let me call again while you keep this
Yeah,
going.
call it back again.
Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rhapsody drum. Ring the bell down there. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over.
All right, let's see if we made any progress there. All right, Rhona, are you hearing us now?
This time, bust it in the air bell. Well, look, I have a story
Tony, you
to
spoke
tell.
it, all right?
Well, it's a long, long time now we fighting for freedom. Victory bound to come. Assemble the people, we sight of the mission, and we rock the rap so we done. Ring
Right,
the bell, ring
Tony,
the bell, ring the bell down there.
what
Ring
is
the
going
bell,
on
ring
here?
the bell,
Are you hearing us, Rona?
I'm hearing you, Rhona. Are you hearing
ring the
us?
bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell
She's
for
looking
freedom.
very intently, like she's looking at something. I don't know if
Something.
her headphones or her volume on her computer
Yeah,
is
yeah.
down.
What I'm gonna do? Yeah, what I'm gonna do, Charlo? I'm going to send you her number off the air
Yeah, do
and
that.
see, call her and see what can happen.
Yeah, do that. Send me her number.
So listen well, I come to deliver this word. Let the voice of the dumb press be heard over the world. Let the people's story be told. Well, it's a long, long time now we come out for action. Glory days come down. I come with my bell just to second the motion. Rock the rap so we dumb. Whoa, I ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rap so rhythm. Ring the bell down there. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Hey. Bring it in the House of Parliament. Bring it in the seat of government. And let it hear. Let it hear. Bring it in the House of Congress. Bring it in the Buckingham Palace. In the Kremlin and Washington. Ring it in the Vatican too, Lord. Oh, oh. I ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rap so rhythm. Ring the bell down there. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Hey. Ring it all over.
All right, so it is the Drive Time Exchange here on the NETT Radio, and let's see if we have made some progress now. All right, Rhona, are you hearing us?
Yeah, I'm here. So it's fine.
All right,
All
okay.
right.
Yes, you're sounding a little far from the microphone.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
how is that? Is that better?
Much better.
Yeah, well, we'll make it work. We'll see our best to make it work.
Yeah, please do that.
All right.
All right, Tony,
Okay.
you are there, right?
So, yes, I am here. So let's go. Rhona Batiste, are you there now? Are you hearing us?
Very much here, still on the side of the river.
All right. So just stay as close as you can to the microphone in front of you so that we hear you properly.
Okay.
Welcome to the program.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for being here.
I should say welcome back to the program. You were here a few weeks ago uh, on the program talking about another thing, talking about your life in China and your life as a young lady growing up and so on. And now you're here to talk about your book,
That's right.
which I have a copy of in front of me. Let me put it in front of me. Not getting the best picture possible. Ah, there she is.
There we
Uh,
go.
seeing yourself,
Yeah,
and
see
the,
yourself.
and the name of the book. She's about telling stories quietly to herself and perhaps to some other people, talking to myself without going crazy, without going mad. Interesting. So we're going to talk about the book in a moment, what's inside of the book. But tell us, how did you come by this notion of talking to yourself?
Tony, before I start talking to myself or sharing those secrets with you, I have a bit of a problem. You want to hear it? I know I have to worry. Well, the problem is this. There is a mutual friend of ours who wants me to deliver a kiss to you. And there is a problem. How do I do this?
Chalo, we're going to have to intervene and let's see if we can fix that mic, get her to fix that microphone because we
Well,
are not hearing you.
Ah,
yeah. I
I'll,
think
I'll,
what you should do is speak up a little bit.
in due
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. If you just speak up a little more, Rhona.
Uh-huh. Are you
Yeah.
hearing me?
Yeah, and keep close to the microphone. Don't go back.
Okay, Dukes.
Okay, go ahead. We
Yeah.
didn't hear too much of what you said before, so go ahead
What
now.
I was saying is that I have a problem in that I have been asked to deliver a kiss to you from a mutual friend and a fan of yours.
Okay.
Question: how do I go about this? I can
Well,
send you a virtual kiss.
yeah,
So
well,
here, let's get it over with. Let's get
tell
it
me.
over.
So,
Mwah!
so, thank
Done.
you. Who's the
Delivered.
individual? I need to know who I got a kiss from.
Yeah, well, one clue is that she is in journalism, okay? And the other clue is that she coincidentally shares the initials MP. Say no.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you've delivered your duty. We'll attend to that at some other point in time.
Perplex.
Tell us about how did you arrive at writing your thoughts and staying sane.
Yeah. Well, let me begin by saying that poetry is as alien to me as is reading scriptures. I never liked either, simply because it meant um, having to memorize. And I would get cold feet when my mom would show me off to her friends to recite Lord Tennyson's The Beggar Maid by Lord Tennyson. She loved to have me do this, and each time I was spooked. So I never really had any great love for poetry, nor reciting things uh, like scriptures. So it was a great surprise, therefore, when this gift, as I have to call it, suddenly occurred, so that in the middle of the night I ended up with these powerful thoughts that were godly in a certain way. And
Rhona, let me just interrupt you 1 minute. Do you have anything else on there? Like is the phone on? Bringing the audio also?
no, this, I was speaking to you just now, it's now off. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, but we just getting a little bit. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Um,
But are you
the,
hearing me?
say that again.
Are you hearing?
I'm hearing you, but there's a little feedback coming. I don't know if it's because of the volume by you is just a little loud. So if there's anything, can you just take down the volume a little bit so that at least just enough that you can hear us?
of my audio, okay?
Yeah, just bring it down a little bit so that you
Oh,
just enough that you can hear us. Once you can hear us, yeah, that'll be good.
yeah, I'm hearing you.
And
All
take
right.
up the
So
volume of your
Yeah.
phone.
Is that okay now?
we try and get that because we want to get your whole story.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So the technology remains a difficulty for age. But anyway, I think I'm on top of it. So yeah, getting to know and to love poetry was something that happened, and it happened late in my life. It happened with gardening. It happened in my retirement with Owen, and I just middle of the night, and you need something to get these soul spiritual deep thoughts, as it to be, onto screens that I could capture. And the next show, putting together soliloquies, which my audience on Facebook seemed to like. So it was just a hop, skip, and a jump up there to be encouraged to compile it into some kind of a permanent book form. So voila, soliloquy was born. So there we go.
For some reason, I'm just not picking up the audio properly from Rona. I don't know why it's doing that. Um, so I would
So
tell
did
you
you
what.
hear what I said?
Chalo, what about getting her on the phone?
I was now going to do that. So,
Yeah.
Rona, I'm gonna call you back on the phone, and we'll do the interview, on the phone, so that at least we can hear,
No problem.
we can
No
get
problem.
what you're saying, right?
Okay.
Ring the bell, ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rhapsody drum. Ring the bell down there. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Come on, brother leader. It's high time that you summon up the power. This time, boss it in the air bell. Well, look, I have a story to tell. Well, it's a long time now we fighting for freedom. Victory bound to come. Assemble the people, we sight up the mission, let me rock the rhapsody drum. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rhapsody drum. Ring the bell down there. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for culture. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Ring the bell down there. I said to ring up the bell for the rhapsody drum. Ring the bell down there. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Bring it all over. Hey.
Hold on, you stay right there.
Come on, brother leader. It's high time that you summon up the power. This time, bust it in the air bell. Well, look, I have a story to tell. Well, it's a long, long time now we fighting for freedom. Victory bound to come. Assemble the people, we sight up the mission, and we rock the rhapsody. I ring the bell.
All right, so Tony, you're there, right?
Yes, I'm here.
All right,
it
and we
going?
have Rhona on the phone now. Rhona, you're there with us now, right?
I am on the cell phone. Should
Beautiful.
I stay here?
Yes, stay on the cell phone. Stay on the cell phone. Huh?
Okay, so I'm on the cell phone.
Yeah, so that way we are hearing you a lot better there. Not so, Tony?
Yes, very much so. Rhona, are you there with us now?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am still here.
Okay, that's a lot better than just now with the video. Something went wrong somewhere. We'll fix that up at some other point in time. So half of your time has gone. We clearly will have to make it up to you at another point in time. But let's go with it. As I indicated, it's a book about talking to yourself and not going mad, staying sane. The typical thing is that when you see somebody talking to themselves, well, it's sentence for them. You have avoided all of that. Give us the background to first of all writing and then publishing this document here.
I'm sorry, I missed the last line.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, listen us on listen on the phone, Rhona. Don't worry about the
Yeah, I'm listening on the phone.
So go ahead.
So go ahead. Go ahead and tell us what were the thoughts that brought you to writing this book of poetry.
Well, I think we all look for a spiritual satisfaction, and that is always some being we call God. And especially now that I had the luxury of time, it meant that I was freer to search for this presence. And lo and behold, the presence was not what I was taught to believe, in that this God is some human-looking being that I must pray to. Pretty soon I came to realize that God is a spiritual something inside of me. So it is that other half of me that I do not see, that is intangible, is immaterial. And that is the conclusion I came to, was that is the soul that we've been talking about. And this is the presence within me that set me thinking of God as being more than just what I was brought up to believe. So it is out of this sort of thinking that more thoughts emerged enough to have me put them into words and capture them in the form of what I call poetry. And that being the combination of a story being told by a poet, poetry, a story. So it was a new sort of genre for me, because as I said before, I did not really have a love for poetry, which I always thought was a little bit beyond my ken.
Yeah. Over what period of time, Rhona, over what period of time did this take place?
Well, I think it came to full bloom when Owen and I were retired in Cascade, and I had my own little garden and time to spend closer to nature. And in fact, one of the poems, if there is time for me, I would read just the one poem that was really my moment of truth. Would you like to hear that one?
Of course, go ahead. That's the purpose of you being here this afternoon.
Well, I kind of feel cheated out of my time, but
Yeah, go ahead.
This particular one is called Credo in Unam Deum. It's the Latin that I'm familiar with. I studied that in school. It was one of the classics, and it was the background of my Roman Catholicism. Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. I call it, it's short, so I don't want to bore my homeward bound listeners. And it's great to have you share these thoughts with me. So thanks for being there. Be safe. Okay, so ready for me, Tony?
Go ahead. We're waiting.
All right, it's called Credo. It's the very first one. It was my moment of truth, and it goes like this. Credo in unam Deum. I do believe in one divine being, architect of a universe without beginning or end, Alpha and Omega, conjoined into the Egyptian serpent Ouroboros, the yin and yang of Chinese philosophers intertwined, existing in harmony. I believe as I look around me, or up to the limitless blue, there in arborous network of green, I spy the master plan of a craftsman. Not Vicky, but design with purpose. No lie. Venation, same as artery and microcapillary beneath skin, awaiting its cells, a feeding for life until death. And so recycling continues. That being the cycle of infinity, 'tis my moment of truth. There we go. There we go.
So okay, so outside of the poetry, um, give our listeners or our viewers something of a core of what you have discovered in that poem.
Well, so it was, so it is, and so it always will be, I guess, Tony.
I think you mute the volume on the computer. Take off the volume on the computer. Leave on the video, but
Take
just
off the volume on the computer.
yeah, just take off the right. Okay, that's right. So we'll see you on the computer.
Yeah, I'm hearing you better.
We'll see you on the computer and talk to you on the phone.
Yeah, I'm talking to you on the cell.
Beautiful. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is, Rhona, give our listeners, our viewers, a summary of what you have understood and how you have responded in that poem.
Well, you mean having discovered this poet, this muse within me?
Yes,
It's
go ahead.
been refreshing, for one thing. It's been explorative because I never knew that this side of my development existed. And there was a greater discovery of peace within me for a life that was certainly not an ordinary one. And so it was going into a new dimension, exploring this aspect. Not only that, I think I had exhausted the writing through prose, and this was a new avenue to to find new meanings, which I think I did, because God is certainly more realistic substance. I hate to call God a substance, but I think my understanding of the Unam Deum was brought closer to me than ever before in my life.
Mhm.
I don't even
You,
make
you,
sense.
Rhona, you said an interesting thing, which I will ask you to respond to or expand upon, and that is,
Mhm.
it has been outside. The whole experience has been outside of your Catholic faith. I take that to mean it is something beyond the spirituality of your religious life. Am I thinking something there?
Absolutely, Tony. I mean, if there is growth or development in one's material and spiritual being, I think that is or was it, because it was totally new. I was restricted by my programmed beliefs, not only religiously, but socially, culturally. And this was taking me into a new universe. And I like to mention Professor Patrick Watson because he was my bête noire in coming out and declaring himself an atheist. He became my devil's advocate. And I think that also helped me want to discover more and more what kind of a world existed beyond death. And then this follows up on the departure of my own son, Mark, who unfortunately decided he could no longer cope with this world. And but therein lies another story for another time. But
Mhm.
all these experiences, I think, have just added to a maturing of my persona. And I've discovered that that persona is not only Rhona, the physical creature you see in front of you, but the Rhona who has a spiritual soul that she herself cannot see.
Yeah.
But
Has
which I
has
do
this
feel
Rona
is as
has
close
this
as it can come
yeah,
to God. I don't know if I
Rona
make
has
sense.
this discovery frightened those around you. You are speaking a different language. You are you are moving to a different sound, as it were. Has that frightened friends, relatives around you?
Well, naturally, yes, Tony, you do not talk race, politics, religion, sex sometimes. I mean, you discriminate in your one on oneness with other people. So naturally, I have become alienated, no doubt, with those who, like me, were brought up strongly religious in the Roman Catholic faith. But I no longer believe what I was taught to believe. So I just steer clear and write my soliloquies. I talk to myself like Rudder's madman, except I hope I'm not going mad yet.
Mhm. Where has
Oh,
this
yeah, it was great
discovery,
experience, Tony,
where
that
has this discovery led you to?
uh,
Rona, where has this discovery of a self, another self, if you like, where has it led you to?
well, it leads to an incredible peace. Because you can accept what previously occupied so much and distracted so much of your time, like money. I mean, that is no longer a distraction for me. Pleasures, you discriminate what kind of pleasures you choose, and those that make you comfortable and happy. And so yeah, I mean, it's a new and freer space that I welcome anyone who wants to go explore. It's a very personal, self-exploratory thing. But I think it's worth it because you are free. I don't know
All
if
right.
I'm making sense to you and to my
So,
listeners.
yeah, so we are talking with
Yes,
Rhona
please.
Batiste, a well-known publisher, writer, etc., and she has just
Etc.
recently published a book called Soliloquy, and talking to
Free
myself
soliloquy.
without going mad. and she's given us a sense of it and what it has done to her spirituality and her life, and all of that. Choose another poem to read to your listeners, your viewers, Rhona. Choose another
You would
poem
like one more, okay?
to read yes.
All right. This is a short one. I would suggest a lot of good ones, if I may say so myself, because I love talking about the first parents, Adam and Eve. A wonderful story, like all the other biblical stories. But let me just read you a short sort of reverie about me and family. And of course, Wayne plays an important part in that. By the way, we all Cronies are poets, huh? We speak in rhyme. So, you ready?
Go ahead as soon as you are ready.
Okay. 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 So this is the dream. It is you, me, we riding a ringside spree. Spectator yet actor. Just an ongoing drama presenting scenes from way yonder, present, past, and future, all wrapped in limits of human desire, unfurling, swirling past as you, me, we on roller coaster spree at Space Mountain Disney. 'Tis a passing parade in the blackness of space. Behold, white specks, stardust in bands like countless grains of maracas sands. Each a reality to see a world in a grain. A unique thing of beauty to mesmerize you, me, in a universe that, like in my dreams, is beyond all that it seems. In this dream is constancy of movement where pace is its own pause, another oxymoron, and time itself, that's accountable to no one. So for me, looks like we've encountered God in time. And how about thee? So that ends that one. And there's a little addendum. I don't know if we have time for it, but
Go ahead.
this bit is about Owen. You want to hear that one?
Go ahead.
You, me, alone in the dead of night. And you beside me, silent, screaming with thought-filled moments of our life's pleasures. Sheer bliss, happiness, the gifts. Two sons, Mark and Simon. Surprise, surprise, what marvels of truths. 4 years apart. How the older one would exclaim, little fist thrust aloft with first declaration of speech in high chair at lunch, throwing us that punch. He speaks, we shout, with hugs of marvel. 'Twas that time of bedazzler, when black became self-power. Proud awareness of a beauty, a recognition most worthy, for the year was 1970. I'm almost there. In the dead of the night when silence fills the empty of losses gone, but never forgotten, memories are joy-filled with playbacks of power, quite different for the second. For his was the pleasure of a body that responded to touch with words of delight, the power and the love he lisped at the age of 2. Ah, yes, how sweet it was, that journey for true. What a life, my darling, made possible because of you. Thank you so much, Tony, for allowing me to share this.
You're very welcome, and I am sure for those who love the poetry and love the language, it should be something of great worth. We allow you a commercial at this point. Where can the listener, the viewer, get a copy of the book to purchase?
Well, Fortunately or unfortunately, they will have to come through me. So they can go through my Facebook, message me, and I'll make sure, just as I delivered yours, theirs will be delivered.
Okay. So any final comment,
Or
Rhona?
through Amazon, of course.
Yeah. Any final comment before we leave?
Well, I still have that problem of delivering the kiss in person to you. And once you get clearance, let me know.
But I need to know who is this person. I don't know who.
To everybody who's out there listening, stay safe. I love you.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much for being part of the program this afternoon. And I'm sure that we're going to talk
Thank
at
you,
another
Tony.
point in time. Take care.
You too, my darling. Bye-bye.
So that was Rhona Batiste. She has just published a book of poems, a book of sorts. Very interestingly, she says, as a lifelong Catholic, this has gone into a different realm. Her spirituality, as it were, has gone into a different realm with this book of poems. Get it? She says she's on Facebook. Get in touch with her, and she will ensure that you are able to purchase a copy from her. Okay, so Charlo, this is the first part of the program. We are going into the second part. We expect that our next guest, Dr. Claude Denbow, and he too has written something that he's going to talk to us about. This one is in hard, old, plain language that you and I and every West Indian cricket supporter will understand. We're in a difficult position. And Claude Denbow is somebody who goes back to being a little boy. I remember reading him somewhere that his mother took him to the border cricket ground in then, I presume, British Guyana, and he got hooked on cricket. And he's been hooked thereafter. And like all West Indian supporters at this point in time, we are hooked with licks left, right, and center. 8-0 the Australians delivered to us, both in the test matches, the 3 test matches, and in the 5 one-days. Not one day, sorry, T20. The licks have been Bazudi, Casing Street. So Charlo, are you seeing him just yet?
Yes, he is. So let's take a short break and we'll come back with him.
Wonderful.
Wake up with the Net Radio Breakfast Show. Rise and shine with Wendell Stevens and Richard Raghubarsing, weekdays from 6 o'clock to 9 a.m. Start your day feeling good, energized, and informed as we tackle the biggest issues of the day, get you where you need to be on time, and keep you in the know about everything that matters. We bring you insightful discussions, expert analysis, and the latest updates so you're always ahead of the curve. Mornings matter. Your voice matters. And it all starts right here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio. The Net Radio Breakfast Show, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. Wake up informed and stay ahead.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box. Drinking out of the box.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
All right, so we are back inside the second hour and, of course, the second session here on New Era TT Radio. This is the Drive Time Exchange. So, Tony, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Charlo. And as indicated, we take a shift from the, I was going to say, call it a little bit out of this world, but let me do good here. Back to the reality of talking about a subject that sometimes pains us in a very real way, but we have to look at it and move forward. We're talking about West Indies cricket, and we have a gentleman with us who is Senior Counsel, Dr. Claude Denbow, well-known attorney in Trinidad and Tobago, who has talked about and written about West Indies cricket. I understand he played a little bit of it himself. He has never acknowledged, but I hear you as a little bit of a leg spinner. I don't know if he had a googly up his sleeve or what, but welcome to the program, Dr. Denbow.
Hello, Tony. How are you?
I am good. After the 8 non-drenching of the Australians, the 3 test matches, and of course the 5 T20 games. As I understand it, you have written your thoughts on whether or not most of us are hoping that before our time on this planet is up, we will see something of the real West Indies of a few decades ago return. What are your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I put it mild. I think that's most unlikely. I would have hoped so too, but highly unlikely that we can see any. The glory days are finished. They took place between 1976 to 1995. Sir Clive Lloyd, Sir Viv Richards were the captains. Those days came to an end when we were defeated by Australia at Sabina Park 30 years ago, 1995. And I don't think there's any hope of them returning. I think all we can hope for is that we don't bury it, that we can salvage it to the point where we have a modicum of respect.
Yeah,
but the glory days are gone forever.
Yeah, and importantly, even if we don't reach that peak again, so that we become what we have been for the greater part of our progress as a West Indian cricket team that can play respectably in international cricket and amongst international teams. As I indicated, no 8 non-drenching for us by some people might say a second grade Australian team, but an Australian team is an Australian team. So yes, what are your thoughts on the subject of the possibility of a return to acceptable standards? Let me put it that way.
Return to accept in Test cricket, not very hopeful at all. Because if you look at the players when they're playing T20, whether for the West Indies or more so for IPL, the body language is different. I mean, I saw it in the other night when I was looking at the inevitable loss in the T20 in Jamaica. I saw it in the faces of Hope and Chase. They were smiling. T20. Test cricket, glum, going through the motions. So in terms of, I would hope that we have some degree of respectability, that we don't just cave in like 27 all out, as happened in Sabina Park a couple of weeks ago. But in terms of being competitive, I really don't hold out much hope. I would hope it could happen, but reality suggests to me we dare to face the truth. You know, Tony Cozier, the late Tony Cozier, was the top commentator and writer in West Indian cricket for a number of decades. he wrote an article in May 1995, Dare to Face the Truth. And that had come a few days after I had written a letter in the West Indian Press in April 1995, headed West Indian cricket in crisis. Tony Fraser's term was Dare to Face the Truth. And the theme of both of those articles was, we better do something now or else we're gone. 30 years, nothing was done, and we're basically gone in Test cricket.
Where do you see this, if you like, kernel of a disease in the body of West Indies cricket?
But you know, it started. My respect for it started 30 years ago. When Australia came here in 1995, I was in Barbados to witness the first test, and I came back and I wrote the article. And during that series, the late Tony Fraser, said to the West Indies Cricket Board, you have to have a serious investigation of what went on, or else we're in serious trouble. And nothing ever happened. And I think it started then. And I mean, I don't want to get too personal about it, but I witnessed it in South Africa, in Cape Town, in 1999. I went for the final test at Newlands, and I recall sitting, the total decay in player discipline. I recall being in the dining room, we stayed in the same hotel with the players. Clive Lloyd, who was the manager, was sitting in the bus to go to the test ground. And the players were casually having their breakfast, not taking him on. And he said, what the hell is going on here? I was sitting in the lobby one night with Clive Lloyd, and all of them were breaking the curfew and walking past us in front of the manager, breaking the curfew. He was powerless. And I mean, that to me jumped out. And I concluded since then that really very little hope.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me of an experience I had at the Oval here in Trinidad, that we lost a game to South Africa. I don't remember the figures, but it was not too much past 250 odd to get in the final innings, which was quite doable. We had Sarwan and Gale and one or two other players. And what struck me was that when we were drenched by South Africa, again, I don't remember the figures, but it wasn't close.
Yes.
The players found themselves in the party stands after the game. And I thought to myself, these people are crazy.
But Tony, I think it also happened in Jamaica against England in about 20 years ago. We were drenched and wiped out bowled out for under 100, and they were in the party stand after. And I saw them in Barbados in 95, partying after being beaten badly by Australia. You know, I happened to stay in the same hotel. I saw them on the famous that place in St. Lawrence Gap in Barbados, partying during the test match and after being badly beaten.
So what is it, Claude? What is beneath all of this indiscipline, this non-caring for West Indies cricket and for themselves and their own career?
But I think it goes back to the governance of West Indian cricket is in disarray, and this territorial representation, territorial boards own West Indies cricket, and each of the 6 groups have 2 representatives on the board, and territoriality and insularity tends to predominate, and directors are chosen not based on competence, skill, and knowledge, but based on being a territorial representative, and most of them do not have any extensive cricketing experience compared to the legends who have been excluded. Legends do not sit in the West Indies Cricket Board. And that's a serious question which the current board must answer. And that is, I put that in my article, which was completed last Friday, just before leaving Trinidad. And I really find it difficult to watch West Indian Test cricket now. I don't watch it. I mean, funnily, I'm a great Test cricket fan, but the real thrill I've had is the last 6 weeks watching India and England, the most enthralling Test cricket I've ever seen in recent memory. But and that compared, at the same time, we've had West Indies and Australia, and I would tune in. By the way, I would spend almost whole day watching India against England.
Yeah.
And I tune in and little excerpts of West Indies playing Australia because I knew the result.
Yeah. A few years ago, might be even more than a decade ago, when Gordon Greenidge took up a position as coach to the batting team, it was at the Oval, and I approached him and said, well, what's the difference between the team of your era and this team that you're coaching now, coaching the batsmen? And I was, waiting for a long explanation of why. And he said one word: pride. There is no pride in these fellas for anything.
Exactly. You just look at them. There's no. You look at them going through the motions and playing for West Indies. It's perfunctory. Just make as if you say in local parlance. They're going through the motions. They're not interested.
What is the cause of it? Some people put it down, myself included, to a kind of loss of West Indian, what it is to be a West Indian, to have pride, to have a sense that we have come almost 100 years. We've been playing cricket, Test cricket, 1928, 3 years from now. It seems as if that sense of being a West Indian has left us.
It has left us, and that absence of pride, and it's no respect for those who have gone before and laid the groundwork for them. I suppose a generational thing in my stage in life. It goes through almost every field of endeavor. People do not, those who are in the limelight now, they do not care to know what their predecessors did and achieved. And they have no pride in that. They don't even care, probably don't even know their names. I had a laugh with Derek Murray about 20, 30 years ago. Some tapes had been donated to a cricket academy, which I had arranged. And he said he was showing some of the young prospective players for the West Indies a tape of the Tide Test in Australia at the Gabba in Brisbane in 1960. And Bear Sobers made that famous 132. And one of the comments after they'd seen the tape, the youngster said, "That fella could have bat. Who is he, boy?" That's Sir Godfrey Sobers, the living legend. And that says it all. So they don't care to know who is Sobers. They don't care to follow his footsteps. They have any pride in that.
And is that part of the whole societal development or non-development, if you like? Expand on that.
Yes, I think it is. I experience it in the law. Doctors tell me they experience it in medicine. Engineers tell me that they experience that in their fields, and almost every endeavor. The youngsters who come, they don't know those who've gone before them and achieved and laid the foundation for them to follow. And they're simply not interested. They graduate and they feel that they've moved from the ground floor to the 5th floor without doing anything. And they know it all. And as I tell the young lawyers, I am a student of whatever I do for 50-something years, and I'm still a student. But they think once they graduate from law school, they've reached, as you say in local parlance. And that's the same thing with the cricketers. If you ask them about Sobers and Greenidge and Hayes, they say, who is that? They may hear of Viv Richards, they know of Lara, but they may not even know of Lara, some of them.
So how do we begin to at least try? I don't think that we can throw our hands up in the air and say, nothing. How do we begin to try?
I think the legends have to be brought into the forefront of West Indies cricket. I think for too long, you don't see any legend on the board. There should be at least 2 legend representatives on the board of West Indies cricket. Why are they not on the board? So that there's a program of teaching young cricketers who have any prospects or who would like to achieve, those who went before them and what they did, what their records or where they performed. They can look at videos. But you need to have the legends organize continuous and structured programs. And legends who come on the board at the expense of the territorial representatives who are not many of them not interested. what the ICC calls institutional conflict of interest. They have their personal interest to protect, and they have territorial interests to protect in terms of insularity. So you need the legends to become actively involved. That's a first step. And you need the Caribbean governments to effect a reform of the whole structure of the governance of West Indies cricket. That is essential for us to have any hope of retaining an element of pride. Yeah.
Let me intervene here to ask you to extrapolate on that point. The whole thing about legal intervention,
Yes.
and you're the right man, you're the lawyer for all of this.
Well,
some years ago, one of the boards and one of the chairmen said that hands off, this is private property, and no government, no institution can intervene in this situation. What's that?
Right.
You respond to that.
All right, fine. But funnily enough, 9 years ago, one of the heads of government asked me to do a legal opinion, extensive legal opinion on legal issues relating to government involvement, Caribbean heads. And this was against the background of a letter written by the Honorable Dean Barrow, then Prime Minister of Belize, reporting to the chairman of the ICC, a letter dated the 14th of March 2016, to the ICC chairman, telling him that Caribbean governments were very concerned about the decline in West Indian cricket, and they had decided that they wanted a limited intervention to restructure it, to make it consistent with international best practice, and putting him on notice that they would be doing that. So that's 9 years ago. And following that, I did an opinion saying that that was legally justifiable, following the decision of the Indian Supreme Court in the BCCI case a few months earlier, that you could intervene. West Indian cricket was owned by the Caribbean governments, as the Supreme Court in India said the government owned cricket, because you had something which is operating at public functions, a majority of people follow it, it was a public interest. So you could intervene, but the intervention had to be limited because ICC guidelines didn't want governments to run the show. And the heads of government said they would do that within the guidelines of the ICC. But that was 9 years ago. And I'm not sure anything is, and they, as far as I understand, the opinion was accepted at the heads of government meeting in Guyana in August 2016. But in terms of implementation, I'm not aware of what has happened.
It seems to me when these situations have come to a boil, as it were, and there is a noise around for the West Indian governments, CARICOM governments, you know, they have been appointed heads. Prime Minister Rowley was the head of that CARICOM committee looking at cricket and so on. They seem to falter, they stop, they're afraid of getting involved, lest the shout of political interference becomes loud and people back away from that.
Yes, well, I think the problem in the Caribbean is that it's all right for the, I suppose, for the Australians to intervene or for the New Zealanders, but they still have territorial representatives. They had territorial representatives there because of the various states. But we in the Caribbean, very small, very, as the late Sir Ellis Clarke used to say, we live in crabs in a barrel societies. So everybody's seeking to pull along the other. And allegations will be made, but unless there's serious governmental intervention from the CARICOM Secretariat standpoint, we don't have much hope of regaining some limited pride and recognition. We will, the test cricket will pass away. I mean, I didn't want to, when I suggested that 30 years ago, people said gloom and doom, but it will pass away in the Caribbean unless that happens. Mm-hmm. And we will be regarded as I call in the article I just completed, a bunch of jokers who are only interested in partying in T20 cricket. Mm-hmm. That's where we headed.
Yeah. And you know, it is a hell of a departure from our own history in cricket, even as, if you like, little boys playing in 1928 and in the 1930s and so on. We surely commanded more respect then than we do now.
No question about it. You just look at all the history of West, coming from Raman Valley in 1950, coming right down to the late 1980s when we were still beating England in England and whitewashing them in England. And West Indian immigrants could walk with pride and hold their chest out and say, oh, I'm from the Caribbean. And I mean, I've had a personal experience of it in Australia. 30 years ago, in 1994, we went to a law conference in Melbourne, and I went to see the Melbourne cricket ground just to see the stands and see what it looked like. Mm-hmm. And the taxi driver said, where are you from? I said, we're West Indies. And he was deferential. He said, oh, you always beat us in cricket. And he was very deferential. But not knowing a year later they would come and dethrone us.
You just related a story there that I suppose real cricket people, you go to a cricket playing nation, and even if there isn't test cricket or any kind of cricket going on, you come close to the ground. And I was in Zimbabwe some years ago, 10, 12 years ago, and we were staying, about 400 or 500 yards from the ground. And one of the first things I did on the morning after we arrived was to go and look at the ground.
Yeah, amazing. I've done it 3 times in Australia because we went there, came off a cruise ship in Sydney and with some friends, and they said, well, no, I must go to see the Adelaide ground. So we went to Adelaide, flew to Adelaide just to see the ground. And to walk and look around Adelaide over.
That kind of spirit, I suppose, has gone with the times.
Oh, yes.
Just to indicate to our listeners and viewers, we are talking cricket and the possibility or the impossibility of West Indies cricket becoming alive again. Maybe we will not be the champions for 15 years again, but we will be able to be respectable in our playing cricket at all 3 levels, which are now popular. And we have with us Dr. Claude Denbow, an attorney at law who is a cricket fanatic. Sometimes it must even become take precedence over his law. I don't know. I'm not asking him to make any pronouncement.
No. I will not shy away from saying during this recent test match, India against England, I'm at my desk working, but the television is on in front of me. So I'm looking up from time to time, and I tell the youngsters, don't come and disturb me unless it's something.
You have to get your priorities right.
Well, in the old days, when at the Queen's Park Oval, when the test match schedule is fixed, Oval test match, whatever day in March, I would take my diary out and say, look here, let me cross off these days. If a date comes up for court, I'm not available on these days. Huh?
I suppose for those of us of our generation, it's a feeling that we have something to offer to the world, that we can stand as small nations that we are, but we are not without respect in some area of life. And I am sure that you've experienced it. When you travel and you go somewhere and you tell somebody you're from the West Indies, they pause and take notice of you.
Well, I always relate to, we were in India in a rickshaw in New Delhi, and the rickshaw driver asked me, where are you from? So I said, Trinidad. So he looked at blank. He didn't say, I said, Brian Lara. He said, Brian Lara.
So Chalo, let's take a break, talk about how we can find the station, and we come back to talk with Dr. Claude Denbow on his views, and I'm going to ask him why does he think that it's a never ever road for us back to the top.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now, what are you waiting for?
All right, everybody. So you can give us a call because we would like to carry your advertising right here on New Era TT Radio. All right. And of course, you can get us on New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. So you can get us on all your Alexa and Google devices. You can listen to us on newerattradio.com throughout the day. And of course, you can also check us out on our Facebook and also our YouTube channel, where we would like you to like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, and remember, all through the morning period, the morning drive, we are on M&E TV, so you can pick us up on Flow, Digicel, Tricore, Amplia. Yeah, those cable channels, you can get us there. So all you have to do is put us in your browser, put New Era TT Radio, and we are sure to come up. So we are back to you, Tony.
Yeah, Chalu, like I like to say, is that there is no reason why you should not look and listen to us. It's surely not a case of not being able to find us on the band someplace. Yes?
No, you can find us very easy. Actually, once you put in that name, we come up first.
Okay. All right. So back to I want to say the penance of the day, thinking and talking about West Indies cricket. We were just simply vanquished by the Australians at the test match level. And surely in terms of the T20, we got a lesson in hitting the ball into the stand, something that we think we invented some 10, 15 years ago. And they have far escalated over us in that regard. So, Dr. Denbow, why do you conclude that this is really not something that is repairable in terms of West Indies cricket?
Well, for a number of reasons. One, I may not know much about it. I could be ignorant, but it doesn't seem that the West Indies board have in place any long-term plan to try to restore us to some level of respectability. I go back to Australia. I recall I used to subscribe to Australian Cricket Magazine in the early 90s, and they were planning for years to dethrone the West Indies. And they achieved it in 1995 in Jamaica. And I recall going to Australia about a year before, and they were planning how they're going to beat the West Indies. I don't know if the West Indies board has anything in place with the legends. That's one thing. And secondly, the relationship between players and the board, I'm not too sure how that is, if it's well structured. The players have an interest in playing franchise cricket all over the world. But when you come to serious test matches, you will find no Indian player, no English player, no Australian player giving up playing for their countries and going to play franchise cricket. That doesn't happen. And maybe because they're better paid, they're better treated, they don't do that. The West Indian players will easily give up playing for the West Indies in a test match and go to play franchise cricket. You can't be vexed with them if they're looking after their families and their futures. But at the same time, there seems to be no incentive to play test cricket for the West Indies.
Yeah. And you've touched upon a serious stumbling block in the way. We know that our players, they usually come from social, economic classes where there isn't a whole lot around in terms of economic possibilities and so on. And they come into playing cricket, and they, in the present age, they make their overtures to the franchise leagues. And once they get in, that becomes their objective. And the West Indies Cricket Board, and they will probably argue they don't have the finances of India or Australia or England to treat our players in that kind of way. So how, as a player, And I suppose there are models for some of our players. When they look at X, who played his life for West Indies cricket, he's struggling on the margins of economic possibilities. How do you tell such a player, devote your time to the West Indies?
Well, I can't be vexed with the players. I think that's one reality why I'm not hopeful about being seriously competitive for West Indian Test cricket, because we in the Caribbean, we're not able to advance the same financial benefits or salaries to players as countries such as Australia, England, and India. Therefore, their preference is to go and play franchise cricket. And they don't seem to be able to move away from that. And that is a major impediment. The English, Australian, and Indian players, when you look at their backgrounds, they haven't come from any better financial circumstances than West Indian players in the main. In the main. But basically, I don't think we can compete with the salaries which would be paid to players from those countries. And that is a major stumbling block to achieving any hope of restoring some pride and respectability to West Indian Test cricket. Major.
Is social and educational background a figure? And I ask that fully acknowledge, and I'm sure that you'll mention it. I don't know that Sobers and Kanhai and Worrell and the likes of those players were any better off than the players of today.
Yes, and they had pride in their whole history and family. I suppose it comes from the whole colonial era, having just come out of independence and having thrown off British rule. You want to show that you can do what the so-called ex-slave master imposed upon your immediate predecessors. And they felt a sense of pride and sense of thumbing their chest. But the present lot haven't gone through that experience, and they're not concerned about one when before. They're concerned about looking after themselves. You can't be annoyed with them. But basically, those of the Sobers era, the Lloyd era, they had greater pride in their performances and in their origins. But our present bunch, those things don't matter, whatever.
Yeah. I have thought about this for a long time, how West Indies cricket have developed over the years, and thought about the input of succeeding boards. And I have come to the conclusion, and the facts are there before us, is that when we have done very well, there has been an individual, in the instance of Worrell, in the instance even of Sobers, going as a great player, if he was not as tactical and attempting to bring the players together. He certainly, in terms of leading the way with his ability, went forward. And then, of course, Lloyd and Richards to follow. And I have thought that the board, not one of those boards of those periods of times did anything of great significance to nurture a team into being, and in fact, in some instances, in the instance of Lloyd, in the instance of Worrell, was that there had to be an outcry to bring them back into the fold.
Yes. So there's a distance between the boards and those players at the time. Yes, certainly. And but there's no one now. We haven't produced any great West Indian cricketer since the Brian Lara era. I can't recall any one of them.
No, we haven't.
You haven't. You're going back at least nearly 20 years. Mm-hmm. So it's not even great outstanding. You can't point to.
Is there a possibility of an individual, perhaps a past cricketer, to come forward, even stretching it further as an administrator of some significance to bring this thing together as an individual?
Well, I smiled, if not laughed, when after I think it was on the 15th of July, after the 27th all-out disgrace, the present president of Cricket West Indies announced, had a statement saying he's convening an emergency meeting with the three legends, Sir Clive Lloyd, Sir Viv Richards, and Brian Lara, calling for an emergency meeting. I laughed to myself. I said, why are they not sitting on some standing committee to chart the way ahead? You know, that's a joke. That's not serious. It's gimmickry. And really, we haven't structured anything to try and keep the players focused on Test cricket at all. Everything is T20 is taking over everything. You sell the franchise, you sell whatever it is, and you sit back and the directors stay in place. And there has been no independent board of directors in West Indies cricket for 30 odd years, notwithstanding a multiplicity of reports, 4 reports from Patterson to Wilkin to Barito to Webby, who just unfortunately passed away last week. 4 reports with the same themes, independent directors based on competence, expertise, and qualifications, and not territorial representation because of the insularity and institutional conflict of interest. Those themes have been there for 20 years and nothing has been done. We have no hope unless we start to recognize that.
You know, talking about insularity, that infamous infamy that has been dogging West Indies cricket for so many years. When I hear the present president raise this issue, or people don't like Sammy because he's from St.
Small
Lucia.
Island man.
Yes.
And then comparing Sammy to Clive Lloyd.
Yes.
Sammy did the same thing as Clive. He went to work. I mean, to compare this, you got to be joking. You can be serious.
Crazy. So that, you know, the possibility. Is it too late to think that the inviting of these 3 players, Lloyd, Richards, and Lara, and you know, just some things just struck me. I remember when there was a time that people were calling for Lloyd after he had retired to return to the team. And when they did return him, was as manager to carry the bags, and so you know, these people are crazy, you know. But is there some possibility, perhaps a rising up of the cricketing people across the region against this board? And if they think I'm promoting revolution against them, good deal. To intervene, to make a difference.
But I think the heads recognized that almost 10 years ago that people in the Caribbean were screaming, well, what is going on? We're being disgraced. And they sought to map out a course of limited intervention, but it was never carried into effect. And those cries have probably decreased now that T20 is taking over and people are sort of fairly resigned, including myself, resigned to the prospect of Test cricket passing away. Although we can't be the morticians, but the ICC may just be just the second tier system of Test cricket, playing with the teams coming from places number 6 to 10. You know, that's what we face. And unless, the only hope to my mind is for limited intervention through a CARICOM structuring, getting the whole board reorganized to give preference to those who have some knowledge and competence as opposed to those who just represent the territory. And that's the only hope to try and bring back some respectability and the legends being involved. But just calling for an emergency meeting, I think Clive Lloyd dealt with it, but I said we have to consider all aspects. And that was his response. He's recognized in he regards Manchester as his home. That's where he lives. And he's not up and down. He'll be 80, 81 next month, and I don't suppose he could be up and down.
I am sure that you agree. One of the things that we have to get rid of quickly is this one coach selection the team, this one coach for all three teams, is just a crazy thing. Sammy has never been a magic man. He's had some enthusiasm in his time and so on. He led a good T20 team, but being a magic man to manage and coach three teams.
Bizarre. No way should that be. You look at all the other coaches when they're showing Test cricket, and you see that all of them are calm. He's totally emotional, fretting and jumping up all over the place. You look at the Australian, you look at the English, you look at the Indian coaches, and they sit passively absorbing everything. You can't be a one-man show for the three types of cricket. Oh no. And total selector. Oh no.
Surely dealing with the three-man team that they have called in the legends. The other thing is that it's not the first time, incidentally, is that they brought Lara in and somebody else at a previous point and so on. The issue is whether they're going to listen in a constructive manner and take advice.
Yes. Well, I think I think Brian Lara was on a program a couple of weeks ago where I think he was making that point with some English commentators, and I'm not too sure that bringing them in just on an emergency basis and then forgetting them a few weeks later is certainly no solution. They have to be in place on the board to make representations and get action done. Calling a gimmickry of a meeting is a waste of time, and I don't think they're going to take it seriously anyway.
And it's something, perhaps a little bit of a public relations gesture to show to the West Indian population, well, we are doing something.
We're doing something, and then we'll never know what ever happened, and it will pass away. 9-day wonder. That's what we're looking at.
What do you think that there is value now? PJ Patterson report was the early 2000 period, something like that.
2007.
And then the 3 or 4 other reports, excuse me, as that came after. Is there some value in looking at them, updating them, synthesizing them into a possibility to go forward?
Certainly, I think, because in the article I just wrote last week, I quoted from the PJ Patterson report, that was 18 years ago, going 19, and certainly, oh yes, because the similar theme is in the late Don Webby's report in 2020, and I think there's a lot to be said for looking at them, extracting all the various themes which can be done from those reports, and using that as a foundation from which to proceed with this, what is called a limited governmental intervention at the CARICOM level, and seek to restore some pride in West Indian cricket at a test level.
What of the structure of the national boards, the territorial boards? I think that's the official calling for them. Do we have to look at that seriously?
Well, I think from what I recall, there has been litigation both in Trinidad, Guyana, and to less extent, but all this confusion and in fighting on the territorial boards. I really haven't followed the history of those too much, but certainly they need, I think the solution will be when the representation on the West Indies board is drastically slashed, then it is possible that people who are jockeying to get to be a representative of the local board onto the West Indies board will realize, well, that is no longer in the offing, and a certain sanity may then come into play in those boards. That's a guess which I'm making, but certainly there's always confusion and litigation and fighting. I think the top board, which is the Cricket West Indies, is what needs to restructure, and maybe that will follow, the other boards will follow after.
Because I always think it to be a crazy thing with the Trinidad and Tobago board constituted as it is. If I remember the numbers clearly, you have 10, 12 persons who retain their positions on the board before an election. And I always think that if you have a political party that gets half of its incumbents reinstalled before an election, it would be crazy, a farce. But yet it happens with all.
But it's apart from what I reports are also coming from the Ghana board, probably even more bizarre. You know, there's all who is the representative, and there's always some confusion and fighting. It's crazy.
What about West Indian people? You and I, people who have supported this thing with our lives for our whole existence. Is there a path open, or a path which can be open for us to intervene in a meaningful way? You know, we shout and we scream and nobody takes us on, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think if a restructuring were to take place at the governance level, I think there would be some path for those who are representatives of cricket followers to have a representative or two on the board. You know, people who followed cricket for decades and who have a passion for it. I think that because I think the PJ Patterson report does mention that the Caribbean, the cricket public, is a part of the whole fabric of West Indian cricket, part of the public interest in the game, and certainly there would be a way for that type of individual to represent a group of people. Certainly, that's possible.
Is it legally possible to structure a constitution which does not leave it up to the board to have people participate, but it's constitutional, that there is some form, some avenue?
Yeah, I believe it's certainly possible. I think that the people in the CARICOM Secretariat have thought about it based on the heads of government interest, which has been shown in the past. I don't know how recent that interest is still in the forefront, but certainly I think it's possible to do that. And it's something which could be studied and developed at short notice from what I've heard and seen of the capacity of the CARICOM Secretariat to do that. But I don't think that those processes have been triggered by any direction from any governing body, which would be the heads.
Yeah. You know, we have talked about having academies in the West Indies for some time. One or two have sprung up. I remember the one in Grenada, which was put into existence by a foreign university.
Yes.
The University of whatever it was called. And, you know, there have been one or two efforts at an individual academy. It surely must be something that we need to work towards, to have a West Indian academy fully installed going forward.
Yeah, I think Barbados also has one there, but certainly maybe at a more entrenched level. But and we had one in Trinidad, which Derek Murray had started. I don't know how alive it is now. And certainly those institutions need to be fostered and advanced, because they will teach the youngsters about those who have gone before and what they should be doing if they have a career which they aspire to invest in cricket, playing for the West Indies. Certainly it's something which has to be done in a very structured and concerted fashion. One has to keep on growing them. Mm-hmm. I remember going to lecture 20, 30 years ago to the youngsters, and one youngster who became a player for the West Indies, played Test cricket for the West Indies, he said to me, "Test cricket is so hard, you're in the sun whole day." Mm-hmm. I can play. that was the new generation speaking. And I don't think many of the youngsters said T20 is easy, where you're there for 4 hours and you go home. And you learn to slug the ball and you hit a six, and you get paid for that. But Test cricket, oh boy, a whole day in the sun, 5 days straight.
You know, even on that score, that the West Indian players, the generation of Chris Gayle and Pollard and those fellas that were hitting the ball out of the ground, I think that even in that respect, they have been replaced. Yes. The Australian batsmen came here. What's this fella's name? I don't even remember his name. Came and he just slugged the ball out of the ground all the time.
Maxwell and David and Cameron Green and all them.
Yeah.
English and all hitting the ball.
English.
What the Australians do, they look at the West and you say, look, let's learn from them and outstrip them on that, and we're going to dethrone them. So they have been studying the West Indies for over 30 years. And they would have seen 6 sitting as part of the T20 game, and that's the road they've gone along.
Right. For a number of years, a number of people have been calling for a sports psychologist, a cricket psychologist in the team to assist these young men who seem not to be able to have their brains working for more than 2 or 3 balls per over. Is that, in your mind, something that is required?
Certainly, I look at the West Indian players, and I mean, without being in any derogatory, sometimes they're infused a certain brainlessness. They lose a sense of balance. What the right moment to do something. It seems to be particularly a West Indian phenomenon. So a sports psychologist, certainly, yes.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Rhona Webster, when he functioned in the post-Packer era, that made a contribution. Huh?
Absolutely. And he has written a text, it's somewhere up there, about that whole experience and his contribution to development of the head game of the players. We don't seem to think that to be too important as we go forward.
Crucial, very important.
So, your final comment as to where we go from here. And yes, you've concluded that perhaps, hopefully, we may become a decent test playing nation at some point in the future. Hopefully, you and I will live to see that if it ever becomes real. But so what do we have to do in the immediate situation?
Well, I share your view, Tony, and I hope that we could become a decent test playing nation. For instance, Australia would not speculate whether this may be the last visit to play test cricket in the Caribbean. And that's all. And people want to play against us and not regard it as a 3-day match. In order to restore some element of decency, I think that the first thing that has to happen is that there has to be limited government intervention to reconstitute and restructure the governance structure. I think that the heads were along the right path 9 years ago, and it needs to be reactivated through the CARICOM Secretariat. And that process needs to ensure that the territorial boards, the 12 directors emanating from the 6 territorial boards, should be substantially reduced in number, as has happened in Australia, England, and New Zealand over the past decade. That's international best practice. We're totally behind. We don't even want to go down. We must go down that road. And that will inject into the process the legends to be representative on the board and members of the fanatical cricketing public, such as yourself, and others who may also bring their views to the fore in the management and carrying on of the affairs of West Indian cricket. We have to go down that road, or else we're going to be totally mired in T20, and the leading cricketing countries will not want to play us in Test cricket. It's a loss-making venture, a 3-day match, and we don't have any decent Test batsmen. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We don't
sorry, go ahead.
No, and without that, people won't want to play. Nobody will want to sponsor you.
Yeah, and I was coming to that point. We are, of course, not an attractive option for a sponsor at this stage of our development or non-development.
No. When you look at the batting lineup, 10 Test hundreds among all the top 6 batsmen, that doesn't exist. And no serious Test playing nation could afford to go forward and play Test cricket. But the top 6 batsmen not numbering at least 10 Test centuries among all of them.
Yeah. Okay, so Dr. Claude Denbow, Senior Counsel, an attorney, That's his day job, but his evening job, like all of us, is really West Indies cricket. And we're into a no-win situation. We're not getting paid in any way, no satisfaction, no feeling of pride, no nothing. But thank you for coming to talk to us this afternoon. And let's see what happens into the immediate future.
Thank you very much, Tony. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Take care, my friend.
Take care. All the best.
And Charlo, so we leave it there for this afternoon, just to give our listeners a tip on what's going to happen tomorrow. And Thursday, we are going to be all focused on emancipation. Tomorrow, we have a panel of a number of people who are coming to talk. And on Thursday, we also have a panel in which somebody like Dr. Hollis Liverpool, Professor Hollis Liverpool, who is a professor of history, is going to talk about emancipation and where we have gone, meaning where has the emancipated population gone over the period of time. So that should be an interesting one, Sir Charles. And so
I think it will. I will look forward to that.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for today, and come tomorrow on Thursday, we are talking emancipation business.
All right, so people, this has been the Drive Time Exchange right here on New Era TT Radio.